Hello, and welcome to How It's Done, a podcast about how real people do actual things to move their brands and their businesses forward. From the simplest of tactics to the most advanced tools and technologies, we go behind the buzzwords to understand the how. Have you ever seen or read or heard about someone or some company that did something really cool and you wondered, yeah, but how did they do it? Yeah, me too, so here we are. Are you curious? I'm about as curious as they come. So stick around, we'll be curious together, and I promise we'll learn stuff. How It's Done is brought to you by Fuoco, a marketing agency that knows when and how to ignite the spark. I'm Christy Goad, and I'll be your host. All right, welcome to the show. In this episode of How It's Done, I'm here with Stephanie Margalis, Director of Culture and Community for Spin, United by Ping Pong, because the world needs more ping pong. Stephanie, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Very excited to have you on, and very excited about today's topic, which is how to create community, culture, and raving fans. We're going to dive into that, and we're going to learn a lot today. But before we do, Stephanie, you have to tell us, what is Spin? What is your role there? Does the world need more ping pong?
So I have probably the greatest job in the whole world.
Wow.
I have to tell everyone that because I am a one-woman community and culture department at a ping pong social club. And we are a national brand. Well, we call ourselves a global brand because we have Toronto, and we plan on moving forward more international clubs. But right now, it's all mostly domestic.
Russia? Because don't they play a lot of ping pong in Russia?
Oddly enough, they do. And we've been talking about some ping pong diplomacy in our DC location.
Oh, I was just kind of thinking about Forrest Gump.
You're like,
does that come up a lot?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
We've talked about doing some Forrest Gump themed parties.
That would be hilarious.
And that's what I do. So a lot of what I do is making sure that the whole point of Spin, which originally was just like it was a loft party. It was a loft party in New York City, and it was two founders that just had like an incredible social network of people that all got together for these Friday night ping pong parties. And it was like supermodels, writers, artists, photographers.
Fun.
And they called it Naked Ping Pong.
What?
And there was
they
probably
naked?
some naked ping pong.
It probably was.
But now what they've done with it since then is just kind of taken this incredible Friday night party and turned it into a place that is inclusive of everyone. Like, we want ping pong to be part of everyone's life in some way, shape, or form, and we want to be the leading company in ping pong across the world. We want to own
Is there
ping
a lot
pong.
of competition in that space?
You'd be surprised.
I am surprised.
There is some competition, and there will be a lot more as we grow, because everyone's getting into entertainment.
Eatertainment?
Entertainment.
Is that a new thing?
Yes, it's like Royal Plum Shuffleboard Club and Dave & Buster's, I would say, even like Alamo Draft House, all places that you can eat and play.
Wow. How many locations do y'all have?
We have 9, but in 2 months, it'll be our 10-year anniversary. And
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. We're throwing a big party in New York, and
Can we all
and
go?
you're invited.
Okay, great.
You should absolutely be there, actually, because it's going to be fantastic. And we're going to announce our 10th club, which is Boston.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah.
And so why is it called Spin?
I mean, it could have been any of
They
the
spin
ping
some
pong
tunes?
turns.
Oh, that's a
the
ping pong turn?
Well, yeah, you put spin on the ball.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's really why.
But you put Spin from a marketing. What's your background?
So my background it's all over the place. I got a master's in integrated marketing communications, and I've done internships in all kinds of weird things. Really just dove headfirst into anything that would allow me to work with them or for them. And then a lot of that after I traveled abroad for a couple years was in hospitality. I love food and beverage stuff.
Who doesn't?
I know. It's such a fun industry. And I mean, my parents didn't want me to. They didn't want me to be in
They
hospitality.
said, be an accountant.
Do something where you know you're going to make money. And I told them that I would definitely be able to have fun for the rest of my life. I knew it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then I got this job.
Well, how did you get this job? They found you?
They found me. I was working for the Royal Palm Shuffleboard Club, which is
That is really something.
a similar concept.
Was that in New York? I'm sorry, I don't know where that is. Yes, okay.
It's in Brooklyn, Gowanus, Brooklyn. They actually opened up one in Chicago as well since, but it is a huge floor shuffleboard club, and it looks like a cruise ship. It's so phenomenal.
That's wild.
And it was all the rage. And it still actually is all the rage. It's just a beautiful space. It's super fun. Everyone wants to be able to take a picture there playing floor shuffleboard in this like warehouse in Brooklyn. So
Oh, awesome. So
that
you
kind
were
of
like
helped me.
you were kind of like a unicorn, a needle in a haystack, and they're like, "We need their Stephanie."
they saw a really special, quirky weirdness. And they were like, that's what we need. That's
to
what
the
we're
brand?
missing. Yes, that's
okay.
what Spin was missing. They had it, and when the founders are definitely weird, quirky, interesting people. But then once you start getting like a CEO in, and you start getting like a board and all
Like
that
becoming
stuff,
real, a real
becoming
boy.
real. The founders don't have as much as touch into the day to the day. Like they're just not. They're not a part of it.
So it was kind of hard for them to keep that quirkiness of the brand. They needed someone who could step in, someone like you who got what they were trying to do and had done it somewhere before.
Yes.
Okay.
And then instead of being able to kind of do what I really wanted to do head first, which was change everything.
That's what marketers do, right?
Instead, I went to Chicago and I worked in that location in operations for a year. And I learned the whole thing inside and out, everything about it.
That was their intent. They're like, no, you're going to learn the business.
Yes.
Okay.
Which totally helped me. I did not want to do that. And they knew me better than I knew myself. Because I learned why. I learned a lot about why I wouldn't do some of the things that I wanted to do.
That was smart of them.
Yes. And then...
Did they know you were an Enneagram 8?
That's when I found out I was.
Oh, they made you take the test?
They make us take the Myers-Briggs personality test.
Okay.
When we start. But I had a manager that worked in the Chicago location that was super into personalities, and he made everyone all over the whole staff take it, and he wanted to know like how he was going to work with them, all this stuff. So I got really into it, mostly about my exact birthday, and how I am that whenever I read it.
Oh, the
Valentine's
Enneagram
Day.
8. Oh, Valentine's Day.
Yes.
That is a very lovely birthday.
So the Enneagram 8 is
the
I
boss.
I discovered that, well, the person who made me take the test already knew. He was like, I feel like you need to read this. And so you can learn more about how you're perceived when you're working with people, and because just read this chapter.
Right.
So
right.
I did.
And you're a curious person by nature, so you were probably just completely into it.
Yeah, I dove in head first to that too. I was like, oh.
And so you knew all that going into this 1 year of training. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you learn about yourself?
I learned that I come off very strong. And I learned that some people really like that.
Yes.
And some people don't really like that. And how to work around, getting people that might not dive in headfirst into everything, people that aren't early adopters, people that,
Right.
are kind of set in their ways on things.
I have that same issue. I'm not an 8, I'm a 7, but I've run into that same thing. I'm like, why wouldn't you want to do this? But a lot of people don't want that kind of change. And so it's good to know that about yourself.
Yes. And I think that I'm definitely Still learning and growing in
Aren't we
that.
all?
No one's perfect.
No.
I'm not getting a lot of people adopted onto my ideas every day. I try, but I'm learning how to.
Do you have any tips on that?
Don't say it immediately.
What do you
Wait
mean?
a minute. If you have an idea,
Yeah.
just wait a minute. Think about how you want to deliver that information and think about how it affects the people that you're talking to. First, solve all the problems around it and then get them to buy into that.
That is great advice. I'm taking notes.
Yes. Because I used to say, I'd just be like, oh, this is what we should do. Oh my God, we have to do this. And half the people would cringe, the other half would be totally excited. And I was like, oh man, okay. Now we have to revamp how we do things.
So, as director of community and culture, you're probably applying that all the time. Can you talk about what that title actually means and the role?
So the role was built around me, kind of, because
So that title wasn't the title like they were advertising.
that wasn't a job that existed at Spin. The original title that someone approached me for was like an experience officer kind of thing. And I love customer experience. I love customer journey stuff. I would love to be a part of that. And now I do more. But first that was like operations. And then we hired a chief brand officer. And the chief brand officer met me and he said, you should not be in operations. You should be on the brand team. And I'm creating...
Oh, they were going to put you in operations.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So then we created this department based on what I thought my skill sets were, and what the company really wanted. And it was really based on how we were trying to grow quickly. And you know, it's the same thing with all companies. When you try to grow quickly, how do you hold on to what's special about what you're doing? What are you actually doing daily? What are you doing with your employees, with your staff? How are you reiterating the brand? All of that, there wasn't a plan.
Which is very typical also.
Which is very typical because we had goals and the goal wasn't like, keep
goal's
the
like,
community strong
right,
forever.
The goal's like, make sure we got enough money to come in the door to pay for all this, you know.
Exactly. And I met with this CEO very early on and told him that, you know, if you want to scale like this, you should probably consider some sort of culture department, because I had learned about that at Lagunitas. They had a whole department where they would, if they had like a new manager, they would send this like group or just one person there and just really totally onboard you.
Did you work at Lagunitas?
No, my boyfriend does.
Oh,
Yes.
So you learned that through him.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's so smart. And that is a very loyal group of people that work for that company. And I was, I was seeing the parallels of why. And it's because they sent someone to you to tell you the story and to like tell you old stories of how it came up and all of this stuff. And so I pitched this idea to the CEO, and he said that, that'll be a year from now. We're not there yet. So I did the operations, yada, yada, yada. And then it was time.
And so what does your job look like every day? And is it more of an internal job, or it's an external experience job, or it's a little both?
We are a startup, so it's a little bit of everything.
You're a shop of one, as you said.
I'm a shop of one. It's a lot of internal. I do like our newsletter for everyone in-house. I edit the newsletter and produce it for our 50,000 plus subscribers outside of our employees. And then I do a lot of partnerships and figuring out how to tie the community into what we're trying to do here, because Ping Pong is it's a sport that's supposed to level the playing field for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have or where you grew up. It's just one of those things where you just come to the table and you drop everything and you just play. And we love that.
And you could be good or not good.
Yes, and we have pros on site to help you get better. So we want people to understand that you can come in and we are a community. Like, we are a very community-driven company, and by doing that, like, the best way of doing it is outreach.
So, like, who are some of your community partners that you're referencing?
We have done, we've done a lot. We do. Sorry.
That's okay.
I would say one of our biggest partners last year was Bumble. We did a lot of things with them because they were pretty hot. With doing,
are they not still
community events? They just do so many that it's hard to rely just like solely on Bumble being this big partner for you, because they're doing like 40 events in a week and they used to do like one event a month.
So is this one of those cases where Bumble needed to go from online to like real world, and so you were a real world place for people to meet?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yes. And so we're always trying to figure out things with WeWork. Our global team is in a WeWork office, so we have a great relationship there, and trying to do some like tie-in stuff and just making sure that like we are being a part of something that is more than just people playing ping pong in our club, because I'll say it, not everyone loves ping pong.
Wait a minute. Can you say that again? No, just kidding.
And it's more just that people don't know that they could love ping pong.
Right.
So it's like, it's not top of mind for everyone to want to go out and like on a Friday night and say, I want to play ping pong.
Right.
So
like, is there something else to do there besides ping pong? It sounds like there is.
Well, there's drinking.
Oh,
there's eating.
Drunk ping pong. Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
And then on Friday nights, we do this thing called Players Night, where we have two pros.
That's when Tinder comes in.
Yeah, we actually have worked with Match.com on stuff like that, but yes. So we have these pros, they come in and they have like personalities. I don't want to say they're like, world wrestling style personalities.
But they maybe have like influencer followings and things like that?
They have, they're energetic and they dress the part, and the crowd actually does love them and they cheer for them, and they put on these incredible like exhibition matches, and a lot of them are, they're pros, like they're real pros. One of our like main spokesperson pros is like a 14-time Swedish national champion, and she she works on the global team. Yes.
Love that.
She's so great. And so people get to like watch this and never seen anything like it in their life. So it's like, that is exciting, and people don't know that kind of stuff exists there. They just think it's a place where you can just jump on a table and play. But there's a lot of interactive games, and there's always like a DJ, and it's actually a whole party vibe, and it's an experience. And we work with a lot of local artists, so like our whole club is curated for whatever the city it's in. It's just, the whole thing is great. So that's also part of it. The whole like community and culture. Like, I have to make sure, like, did we make sure that we were involving, the correct people around us? Like, are we inviting people in? Are we like working with local charities and, just giving people more than what they expect from us as a national brand? Because a lot of people don't want that.
And how do you figure that out? Because you're now moving. You're here in Nashville with us because you are en route from New York to Austin.
Yes.
To do this job there.
Yes.
So what does that mean, and how do you go about learning what that is? What is that community? And you read a lot, you talk to a lot of people. How do you do that?
Yes, I will be doing the same thing there. And I'm actually really excited about going to Austin because every city has their own special vibe and, interesting part about what they're doing. But personally, how do I learn? I spend a lot of time reading. I guess you could say they're self-help, and maybe they're categorized as that. I call them like leadership, guidance, motivational books. I'm obsessed.
You have even a website you've set up, I understand, called Radical Afternoon around this very thing, do you not?
Yes.
What is that?
So Radical Afternoon started because when I actually took the job as the director of community and culture for Spin, I thought I really needed to step up my game in my own personal community and culture experiences in my cities. So I made a commitment to myself that like one time every week I would do something new in my city that has community and culture involved, and I would write about it.
Oh, cool.
In theory. So what I learned in that
Great
process,
idea.
what I learned in that process is I actually only really like doing those things, and I prefer writing about the leadership books I'm reading. And so
yeah.
I was hanging out with some of the Shake Shack marketing team, and I was explaining to them Radical Afternoon, and I was explaining how it was so hard for me to like write about some things and not about others. And one of the girls on their marketing team was just like, well, only do what it is that you love doing and just add the other stuff later. Just focus on one thing.
There's a thought.
And I was like, oh. And then it was
That's
just
harder
funny.
than it sounds, though, right?
I know.
Because like you're into a lot of different things, it sounds like to me, and so like focusing in on one. I mean, I know I have
hard.
that problem.
Well, it's also because you're like, I want everyone to know all these cool things I'm doing because I'm doing them, and it's like you're something you're proud of. But at the end of the day, I can like
Only so many hours in a day,
only
really.
so many hours. And what I've learned from that is infinite. What I learned from reading all of these books is also infinite. It's like I make the commitment of 8 pages a day because 8's my lucky number. 8's my Enneagram.
Look at that. Did you have that commitment after you found out you were an Enneagram 8 or before?
8 has been my lucky number my whole life. So the fact
That is
I know.
really interesting.
So I commit to 8, and then I wind up not being able to stop, and then it's like 2 hours later.
80
Yeah,
or 800.
because it's all so good. It's like there's just all these industry experts are just writing these fantastic stories about what companies are doing. Why not know as much as you possibly can?
So in Radical Afternoon, you post books that you've read like that and a little summary or what you liked about it, and so other people can go there.
Yes.
We'll have you give it the web address at some point, either now or at the end of the episode or both, but we'll definitely put them in the show notes for sure,
perfect, yes.
your web address.
Yes, it's radicalafternoon.com. And on there, I also, as I'm reading, I have so many thoughts when I'm reading that I want to apply it immediately to the situation that I'm in or like something I've been thinking about for work. So I just write it down right then. I'm the most productive between like 6 a.m. and 8:30.
Right, me too.
And then it kind of just, after like 3, it's like, I don't know anymore. So you have to catch me really early. And
Yeah.
I'm like, all I'm doing is thinking about what I just read and how I want to apply it and change the world and do all these great
So
things.
this is where you get your radical thoughts, because that's a
Yes.
thing for you, right?
Yes.
This whole radical thought thing.
Yes. And
Okay.
I feel like I have them so much and then nothing happens. So that's why I was like, I'm just going to start writing everything down and putting it on the blog and like really just having this whole long list of things that I can refer back to.
That's awesome. Do you have, do you look at the Google Analytics for that? Do you know you've got like millions of people going to this site? I'm just kidding.
I don't.
But that's probably not what it's for, right? You're just like, oh, this is something I enjoy. We go back to that. Like, it's there
Yes.
for you if nobody else.
It's there for me if nobody else. I do have intentions of reaching out to like the PR people for books and like publishers and stuff like that so that I can receive them and write them, because currently I'm getting them from Fast Company Magazine's library.
Oh, so what
Yes.
else? Yeah, what are some of your other sources for all your good ideas and
Really,
inspiration?
Mostly just Fast Company. One of my very best friends in life is the managing editor there.
What?
So she lets me come into their library.
You know, as someone in marketing and PR, I'm like, I need to know that person.
Oh my God. I'll connect you. You guys would
Okay.
love each other.
Maybe she'll do a podcast.
She would.
That'd be fantastic. Okay, I love this. Okay. That is a great magazine, though.
Yes.
It's fantastic. Well, so how do you weave all of this into your day-to-day work? Do you find that you're getting ideas, obviously. You're getting inspiration, obviously. Do you find yourself weaving a lot of those things into your day-to-day?
Yes. And that's where the 8 comes in, and I go rogue, and I'm trying to learn how to kind of like harness my enthusiasm and excitement for all of these best practices and all these cool, interesting things that I'm learning and all this like innovation, and how to channel it. And I just started by writing some thoughts on a whiteboard in the WeWork office. I love a whiteboard. And so I would just write one thing that I had read that day, and I just let other people kind of see it, think about it, and then talk to me about it.
Oh,
Yes.
I like that. Subliminal.
Yes.
How does that work out for you?
Well, the CEO loves it.
Does the CEO come by your office regularly? Like, how big is this office?
No, we just share it. We're this close to each other.
Oh, you're right there. Okay.
Right there.
So
yeah, it's a WeWork. It's probably like 6 desks in there, and it's just some of the global team. A lot of other people are just across the U.S., but there's a little group in New York that all just sitting there every day
right there together.
Yes, and I won't be there anymore.
Are they gonna miss you so much? I know they are.
Should I have sent them things to put on the whiteboard?
You could like send somebody in there, like once a week to like write a Stephanie thing on the board, so they don't forget you.
I need to do that.
No, they're not gonna forget you, but that would be kind of a fun thing to do. My son just started college in New York, so maybe we could send him in and just write things on the board from Stephanie.
You should go be an intern.
Oh, stop it. Okay. See,
It's the most fun
I'm with you. I'm
company
like, great
ever.
idea. Yeah. And my son will probably be like,
What?
that is the worst idea I've ever heard, Mom. Please. Plus, if it's not his idea, he doesn't really typically, necessarily want to hear it from me.
Write it on a whiteboard somewhere
Yeah.
near him.
Yes, good idea. Hey, speaking of, like my son and I don't know, is he a millennial? He's probably the next generation below millennial, which is, gosh, what is that? You probably know. I don't know. Do you have like a lot of millennial? Is that a big part of your audience and the people you're trying to engage?
Yes.
And if so, do you have to think about that a little differently? Are you a millennial?
I am a millennial, and I
So
see
you're
it.
one of the millennials.
I think I am. I see the tendencies that people talk about when it comes to millennials, and that would be, you want to do only what, like what you're really passionate about and not do like the 75 other things on your plate. And you want to be purpose driven, and you want to believe in what you're doing, and you also want to work from home, and you don't want to do anything on anyone else's timeline but your own. And yes, that is me. And I have seen the way that I react when people kind of work around that, and the productivity and output is through the roof. If you let me go on something and you let me do it my way, I promise you're going to get something 10 times better than me sitting in front of you at a desk from 9 to 5 when I'm losing my mind. So I think that I'm also lucky. I mean, we can walk over to a ping pong club and do what ping pong is meant to do, which is stimulate the brain.
Oh, so do you have a lot of people? So is the WeWork where you work, is that close to?
Yeah, it's like a block
Spin?
away.
So do you do that? You may get up in the middle of the day and go.
Totally.
Oh, is that part of your marketing of Spin, to like a creative sort of break for people?
We really do try to get people involved in the health benefits.
Health benefits of ping pong.
I mean, you can make up anything about
Who knew?
I mean, it's definitely
Mental health, maybe, really. Is that what you're talking about? Or
Mental
physical,
health.
too? I guess
Physical
if you're a
health.
professional ping pong player, it could be physical.
Well, yes, but I mean, if you get a little bit better than you currently are, which is probably below average, you can burn like 330 calories in an hour.
Okay. I'm really thinking about ping pong in all new ways.
People work up a sweat. That's why we have these cold eucalyptus towels we bring around to people.
Wait, you have cold eucalyptus towels
Yes.
at Spin?
Yes. It's part of our surprise and
What
delight.
else are you not telling me?
We do these like little surprise and delight things where
Oh, was that your idea? Did that come out of your department?
it came out of my department, but it
Okay.
was a group effort. Also,
Okay.
the idea is already happening at Equinox.
Oh, so you stole it.
Stole it.
That's also a
But
good way to do things.
But we hand it out on a silver platter.
But
With
like no
tongs.
one would expect that at a ping pong club. Probably, I didn't expect it. So
It's
it
the
was,
whole surprise and delight like initiative that we're doing is just we're trying to have people really not expect what we have going for us at Spin. And it's working.
that's awesome.
Just worked.
And is the Austin location where you're moving to, is that new or has it been around for a while?
It's been a little over a year. We had the 1-year anniversary party in May.
Got it. And does your whole team go to these parties when these things happen, or
Well,
you have a whole
we
staff
used
down
to.
there?
We used to because our global team hasn't grown as much as our clubs have grown. So everyone used to be at everything, and now we have to. Some people need to stay and do their jobs in places, but we try to get a couple people there. But I kind of took on Austin over the last year as like a mentor club. Each person in the global team kind of takes on a club, and you focus on your strengths with that club. So we've done some really interesting things there. Yeah.
Can you share like one or maybe one really interesting thing
Yeah.
that would surprise and delight us?
I feel like for a lot of it you kind of have to be there, but we turned they have a little patio there, and it's really small and adorable, and we decided to just turn it into a beach, and we laid sand down, and we have chairs like little beach chairs out there, and like these hanging chairs, and it's like a little oasis, and we have a little sunscreen station, and we worked with Super Goop, and we worked with like Casamigos and got a whole frozen margarita drink machine out there, and it's just like this totally cute experience that we have for the summer, and we're gonna change it up probably in October for like some sort of new theme, and I think we're just gonna keep that whole like new pop-up experience out there going.
Oh, and well, how do you go about executing on something like that with a department of one? Long hours,
Yes.
7-day work weeks.
You have to really find a way to get a couple other people passionate about your project. That's what you have to do.
Buy-in.
You have to get a couple people to see it and to believe in it and get excited about it, and that's how you get the work done.
And I would
Because can't do
imagine
it all.
in your world that also might look like the people that work physically in that location. You have to
Yes.
really get them on board and get them excited about it, and they really help bring it to life.
Totally. Austin is a weird city, and they definitely want to keep it that way.
That's part of their brand.
That is their brand.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that work there in the club, they embrace like anything that I kind of throw at them.
Is that where you
They-
can
sometimes
just
they-
throw your ideas out
Yes.
there and it works there?
Yes. And so we're gonna my global sales director, he's now actually the VP of sales for Spin. He lives in Austin, and one of our founders is moving to Austin, and so we're gonna have our own little new creative hub down there, and we're just gonna go for it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Are you going to be at the WeWork in Austin as well? Or they have a different situation?
We don't have anything yet. Give me like 3 days.
So you just love to go in and create. This doesn't scare you at all.
No.
You're energized by that.
I'm energized by having to build something out of nothing. Yes.
That would scare a lot of people.
I know. Apparently I'm risky.
I think that's great. I'm a risky person too. So I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
just go do it and start and you'll figure it out along the way. But usually that works out. But then, of course, you'll have to create some plans along
Yes.
with that as things grow. But
I need to get plan people working with me, actually.
right. I say I'm like the idea person, and
Yeah.
I really need strong operational people
Yes.
around me to help bring those to life.
100%.
So-
I have an operations team, thank God. But yes, I see myself more as like an idea person. Too many, in fact.
Right. So it's a matter of prioritizing your ideas.
Yes.
Yes. So that's a good takeaway, and probably something as part of your ongoing self-reflection and work on your own skills and as a personally and professionally, something I think, anybody that's intellectually curious, that's what they're always doing.
Totally.
Always trying to be better, always trying to learn something, always realizing, if you're like me, there's so many things I don't know. So I tend to not focus as much on the things I do know, which also could be bad. But as a result, you're just always, bettering yourself. And so.
Absolutely. I think that reading, writing things down.
So I see you. Do you keep like a journal? You have a
Yes.
moleskin with you at all times, or how do you capture this?
I have a small addiction in Le Pens and little writing notebooks. I have so many little notebooks, and every time I go anywhere, I just have to buy more. And then I make sure. I mean, I'm actually more into writing notes and keeping lists on paper. And I know I shouldn't. I should just
Why?
be digital and just
No,
stop
I'm with you because it
just
also
wasting paper.
It help you can easily go back to it too. Whereas
know.
digitally, it's sort of I don't know. It's not as there's something about writing it down that helps
Absolutely.
internalize it, or
It helps me.
yeah, it helps
And
in retaining things for me. I don't know. It's one of those things.
The same
I'm a
thing with the
visual person
books.
and also writing things down.
The books, all my books have tiny little tabs, 50 of them per book. And I like to be able to go back and pull it off the shelf and flip through and remember why I thought that thought or what I was thinking, and then put it back, move on with my day.
Did you
It's hard
pack
to do
up all
that
your
digitally.
books with you on this move?
Yes, they're arriving tomorrow.
And are you arriving tomorrow?
I'm going to arrive, I don't know yet. I kind of wanted to stop in Waco.
Waco. What's going on in Waco? You just
Well, Waco is probably mostly known for the cult, but now, there's that I don't know, that some home renovation show that everyone loves, Chip and something. I don't know.
Joanna.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
they're
I think-
fantastic.
I think that they have turned that city into something so much better than it was,
right,
and I
'cause
want
she
to go
has
antique
Magnolia.
shopping. Yes. So I want to just maybe pop in.
Oh,
So-
you're into antiques.
Well, I'm into weird things that I find and purchasing them, even though I probably shouldn't. Which makes moving even harder.
Yes. But that's fantastic. I love that. I bet you have a very eclectic style and your home is
It's
very
strange.
eclectic.
Yeah, it looks like a ball of community and culture.
Oh, I kind of have a visual for that. You'll have to take some pictures and send them to us.
I will.
So we are getting close to our time today. Thank you so much for stopping in Nashville, one, and then taking the time to speak with us about how it's done. How do you create community and culture and raving fans? And I have a question. How do you know when you've succeeded, when you've actually created raving fans?
It's when people do the community building for you.
And what does that look like?
When you have people coming to you telling you that these people should be part of what you're doing, have this person, when your actual audience is trying so hard to help you build your community further, you've done it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've gotten there.
We've gotten there. But we have work to do. Yeah. That's why I'm here.
Well, it sounds really fun. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about either yourself or Spin, or this podcast is a podcast for curious marketers?
I would say, a lot of people often say that they don't have enough time to read or go out or do things. And I would say that that's more of a matter of prioritizing. And I've learned that recently. When I say I don't have time, it just means that I'm not making it a priority. So in order to become, a more interesting human in life, you have to prioritize the things that make you that.
That's a great point. Thank you for that. Well, that wraps up this episode of How It's Done. My guest today has been Stephanie Margalis, Director of Community and Culture for Spin. Stephanie, if people want to learn more about Spin or get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Our website is wearespin.com, or you can find me at radicalafternoon.com. Or email me at stephanie@wearespin.com.
Fantastic. Stephanie, thank you so much. Safe travels. We will look forward to following your career and the trajectory of spin.
Thank you.
That's it for now. Thanks so much for listening. We're looking forward to keeping great conversations coming your way as we grow this podcast. There's even more great content from our conversations on our blog. Be sure to check it out at growwithfuoco.com. That's grow with Fuoco, Fuoco.com. Stay tuned until next time, and no matter what, stay curious.